Thursday, September 6th. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom. Transport Minister Robert Montague's push to open up all public transport routes is to begin next Monday with a pilot project. Some 996 route taxi and 264 rural stage carriage routes will be opened for a 12-week period ending November 30. Another 100 spaces on select JUTC stage carriage routes will also be offered. Additionally, the Transport Authority will consider applications for Hackney carriage service in St. James, St. Anne, Westmoreland, Trelawney and Manchester. Minister Montague said the pilot, technical considerations, as well as feedback from consultations will be instrumental in the ministry's assessment of the likely national impact of the full liberalisation of the public transportation system. Parliament's Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, the PAAC, wants former Managing Director of National Energy Solutions Limited, NESL, Carolyn Warren, to return to answer questions. Warren resigned from NESL in July, and a police investigation into the operations at the state-owned entity was done. But committee member Philip Paulwell says even private citizens can be summoned to the PAAC if needs be and held in contempt if they fail to appear. In reviewing the last sitting of the PAAC, Mr. Paulwell made it clear that any person, whether employed to a public body or not, can be summoned to the PAAC.
This is going to require quite an elaborate discussion, yes. Because there are really fundamental issues. You use the word inviting people to come. Probably, Chairman, we could start speaking about summoning people to come so that people understand that this committee is not to be trifled with.
Warren's resignation happened after it came to light that she had a criminal record prior to her employment at the entity. Among the issues raised by Mr. Paulwell is a report that work was done by Peak Energy Solutions Limited, of which $12 million has been paid over by NESL without a written contract.
I mean, this issue of contracts in place without being written, the role that Ms. Warren played as chairman of a projects committee and approving I think those are so fundamental. I'm just wondering if we should pause the tabling of this report until we are in a position to put even more flesh to this than we now have.
Business operators along Constant Spring Road in St. Andrew are complaining of significant reductions in their profit margins due to the ongoing roadworks along the major thoroughfare. Owner of Richie B. Liquor Center, Richie Burgess, told Nationwide News that business has been cut by approximately 40%. He has also been forced to reduce opening hours, therefore staff has had to be cut. Mr. Burgess is hoping the roadworks will be completed soon. In the meantime, owner of Charmaine Day Spa, Charmaine Shortridge, says she's had to cut more than half of her staff. On Monday, NWA affected changes to traffic at the section of Constant Spring Road between Cassava Peace Road and Mary Brown's Corner. It was converted into a one-way corridor for traffic heading from the direction of Manor Park towards Halfway Tree. As a result of this change, motorists heading north towards Manor Park are being routed along Cassava Peace Road. We were also told that Cassava Peace Road will also be converted to one-way between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. on weekdays. Motorists may also use the road through Constant Spring Grove onto Saxthorpe Avenue to access some sections of Constant Spring Road, including the two major financial institutions along the corridor. The National Solid Waste Management Authority, the NSWMA, will extend its nightly collection of solid waste to several areas within the Kingston metropolitan area. The NSWMA, in a release last night, said this service will allow for smoother operations and for collection fleet and crews to move more freely. Nightly operations are expected in the following areas: Harbour View, Bull Bay, Shooters Hill, Bayview, Camrose, Copacabana, Constant Spring Gardens, Havendale, Meadowbrook, Roehampton, Queensborough, State Gardens, Zadie Gardens, Hughenden, Marvelly, Pembroke Hall, and Queensberry. The Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, JCC, is against the reimposition of taxes on imported, refined or granulated sugar, as put forward by Agriculture Minister Audley Shaw. Minister Shaw, speaking at a sugar stakeholders meeting this week, said that he is in possession of more than anecdotal evidence that sugar imports meant for the manufacturing sector have illegally found their way into the distributive and retail sectors. Manufacturers benefit from duty-free access to import refined sugar as raw material. As a response, Shaw proposed to reimpose the duties on sugar meant for the manufacturing sector, with a view of having those duties reclaimed by legitimate manufacturers within 30 days. But the JCC said it does not support the move, arguing that it will drive up the cost of doing business. Instead, the chamber wants Shaw to hand over the matter to the police, including the identities of the entities and individuals involved. The latest ex-refinery costs from Petrojam show that motorists should see an increase in the pumps and the price of gasoline and diesel effective today. 87 and 19 octane gasoline will be sold for $138.54 and $141.38 per litre, respectively, up by 31 cents each. Automotive diesel fuel will be sold for $140.85 per litre, following an increase of $1.89. While ultra-low sulfur diesel is up by $1.75 and will be sold for $145.27 per litre. Meanwhile, kerosene increased in price by $1.30 and will be sold for $123.51 per litre. Do remember, marketing companies and retailers will add their respective markup to these prices. In regional news, in Trinidad, the parliamentary opposition is to launch a no-confidence motion against the government over its closure of the state-owned oil refinery Petrotrin. Opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar says she intends to file the motion.
We intend to file a motion of no confidence in the parliament at the next opportunity that we go. And let us see if this government will be brave enough. When we file that motion, let us see if they'll be brave enough to set a date for the hearing of that motion, or they will dissolve the parliament for it to lapse. But you can run, you cannot hide. We will refile it in the new session.
In sports, former president of the Jamaica Olympic Association, Mike Fennell, was on Wednesday honored by the Pan American Sports Organization for service to sports during the first day of the Pan Am Sports General Assembly in Lima, Peru. Fennell, who previously served as vice president of the PASO, was pleased with the unexpected honor. Fennell, the 2016 recipient of the National Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year Global Lifetime Achievement Award, gave 40 years of leadership to the JOA, ending in June 2017 when he stepped down. And that's the news. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom. Remember, we are the People's Station.